As a service provider who's selling their time and expertise and skills and knowledge, all really intangible things, how do you decide how much to charge? If you're anything like me or my clients who are web designers, online coaches, and other service providers, you've probably asked yourself these questions. What if I ask for too much and lose the project? What if I ask for too little and leave money on the table? And maybe you've asked this one too. Do I have to say the number out loud when it makes me feel so uncomfortable? Hi, I'm Danby. I'm a web designer and a global inclusion specialist based in Singapore. Whenever I speak with other web designers, especially designers who are working towards their first few paid projects, there's one topic that comes up over and over again: pricing. And this is my super simple pricing method that I share whenever someone asks me, how do I decide how much to charge? The first thing I do is find the starting point. I ask myself, how much of my time do I think will go into creating the kind of experience and outcome that I want to deliver for my client? I don't believe in charging an hourly rate, but I do have an hourly rate in mind for myself. Because when you're selling a service, you're also selling your time. It's not the only thing you're selling, but it's definitely one of the things. So I like to start with the time requirement for the project. To do this, I guesstimate the number of hours that will go into a project, and then I add 50% because I know that I tend to underestimate how long things take. And for me, 50% is a good correction. So that number of hours multiplied by my hourly rate gives me my starting point. The second thing I do is set the maximum. I ask myself, what results are my clients getting in general? What results can this client expect to get? And what is that worth to them? When a client invests in working with me and creating a new website, I want them to get an amazing return on their investment. And that can look like signing new clients, booking sales calls, getting interviewed on a podcast as a guest expert, being featured in an industry publication, increasing their prices. The list just goes on, and it really depends on the client. So I ask, what is that worth to this client? And that is the maximum. This does take a little bit of guessing, but if you've done your market research and you really understand your clients, this should be doable. We've set the starting point and the maximum, so you can probably guess that the third thing that I do is set the minimum. I ask myself, what is the lowest price I can charge and still feel good about doing this work? I don't want to be in situations where I'm thinking, I am not getting paid enough to do this. I have done that before, and it's the worst. I've experienced intense resentment, pulling all-nighters just so I could complete projects and get rid of those clients. It is not a good feeling, and I didn't start my own business to feel this way. So I ask myself, how much should I charge to ensure that this does not happen? And that's my minimum. The fourth thing that I do is make the decision. I pick a price that's somewhere near the starting point and falls between the maximum and the minimum. I just choose. You've probably heard the business advice, take messy action, because that's how you learn, that's how you move forward. The opposite of taking messy action is just thinking about all the possible actions. And when you do that, nothing changes and there is no moving forward and you're stuck where you are. And the same thing applies to your pricing decision. When my clients are indecisive about their pricing, I just tell them to pick something. They'll work with a new client with this pricing, and at the end of the project, they can review and tweak based on that real experience, that actual experience, as opposed to based on some hypothetical situation. The fifth and final thing that I do is check in with my gut. Once I've picked a price, I ask myself whether this price makes me feel like my clients are super lucky to get to work with me. And also, can I say this price out loud during a face-to-face conversation and feel really proud and confident? If the answer is yes, I know that I have the perfect price that makes me feel really excited to go and do my best work, and that also makes sure that my clients are getting so much more than the money they're paying for their website. I'm curious to learn how you make pricing decisions in your business. Please take a moment to let me know in the comments. That's all for today, and I'll talk to you soon.